Welcome, welcome, welcome. All righty, welcome. On behalf of the African American Outreach Initiative of the Los Angeles Community College District and the students of the Los Angeles Community College District, I want to welcome you to our very first student voter empowerment session. We are excited about the event today because the students' voices will be heard front and center. My name is Daniel Tabor. I'm an adjunct faculty at Los Angeles Trade Tech College and Los Angeles Southwest College, and a member of the African American Outreach Initiative. Dr. Lance Robert, faculty at Los Angeles Southwest College, would you introduce the committee members and students who will be presenting today?
It is my pleasure. Welcome, everybody. This is a hyped event. Politics is all about theater, right? So we're going to have some theater today. But what Mr. Tabor didn't tell you is he's the Honorable Tabor. He's a former city councilman in Inglewood. He's also a former mayor of the great city of Inglewood. He's worked in Congress. So you are being led today by someone who has the political grit and expertise. So I'm really happy. So let me start by introducing him. All right. And then to go on, we have Nicole Flores, who was on the committee, who sort of arranged all this for us in this environment. So we welcome you. Thank you, Nicole. We have Dr. J. Edward Stevenson on the Policy and Advocacy Committee, who is an amazing professor, communications in his own right, dean, just does it all. He's a Black man at our best. That's what I'll say about him. We also have Dr. Kalinda McLean, who put together almost immediately within less than an hour, the flyer for the event and to advertise it. She's a professor in her own right, dean, and just an extraordinary Umoja counselor and all that good stuff. I'm probably missing about 50 other things on her resume. And then finally, too, I want to introduce Dr. Nairi Berry, who is on the committee, but is actually our coordinator for the entire AAOI African American Outreach Initiative. And it was also this day. See, students, when you dream or think about something, you can manifest it. Just talk about it and put it in your mind and your imagination, and it happens. So this started as a conversation, and now we're here today. Now, I'm going to move to the students who are also presenting today. I'm so happy that I'm Dr. Robert, political scientist. I also teach a leadership class, Political Science 41. And I'm so excited to introduce the students who, as a part of their class assignment, was to help arrange what happens today. So in that class, we have, and they can all maybe say hi, we have Selena Lopez. And Selena Lopez, say hi.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's my pleasure to be here. I'm so excited.
Okay, awesome. And Selena is the ASO Executive Vice President at Los Angeles Southwest College. And then I love how students can, in this district, can take classes at all the different colleges. So you really, all of you are a part of our family here. So we also have Melanie Bennett from the leadership class, and she's taking classes at Los Angeles Southwest College, but she's also a student ambassador at Los Angeles City College. Melanie, very good. And Melanie will be presenting later today too. They wrote these wonderful pledges. In addition to that, let me go to the administrative vice president. I hope he's ready to come off of his go to his video real quick. We have Javian Jones, Brother Jones, administrative vice president for Los Angeles. So there he is, Southwest College, my man.
Hey there, y'all doing, man?
I know you're excited. You're a poli-sci major. You're all in this. He can't wait. So
Yes,
Jay
sir.
will not only be giving us a pledge today and making his debate, he also going to talk about reparations for a few minutes as well on the line today. And then we have sociology club president in the house, a Umoja student extraordinaire, William Benson. William's at work, sneaking around the corner, getting on the call. So, so hopefully William can plug in too. But William, we're glad you're here. He'll be doing a tribute to he'll be doing a tribute to John Lewis later on in this. So I think did I get everybody from the class? Michelle Booker. Hey, Michelle.
Yes.
Michelle
And Melanie.
Michelle is the secretary of the ASO at Los Angeles Southwest College. Great student, great mom. I can't mention some of these ladies, Selena and Michelle, without mentioning their children too. That's a part of who they are. So thank you, Michelle. Michelle will be reading her pledge and making an argument today. Okay, I think I'm done with my portion of it.
Professor, we've got Melanie.
Melanie, Melanie, I gave her already, right? Melanie.
All right. There we go.
A second. Okay, awesome.
All right. And thank you very much, Dr. Robert. And students, we're about ready to bring you up, and we got a few things we got to cover first. Hopefully you can see my background. Some genius put this together, and I felt it was appropriate for today's event as we recognize how the important role that the political process, Dr. Robert called it theater, the political process, and it is often more theater than process, plays in our lives, and how voting is not just important, but it's a responsibility, an obligation we have to many of the people you see behind me on this flag of African Americans who contribute to the fabric of this country. So with that thought, we should begin where it begins for most Black folk, most people of color, when they come together with a tribute and recognition. And we do so today by listening and thinking and reflecting upon Lift Every Voice and Sing. Many of us know it as the Black National Anthem. Mr. President. What a way to end a tribute, a song written from the experiences, from the horror, but yet the pride, the hope of African-American ancestors, a song that reflects who we are and who we can become. We are educators, and as educators, we spend our time seeking data to help us perfect our craft as teachers and as students in this educational community. So we wouldn't dare think of having an opportunity, an event like this pass without trying to get some information that will help us improve how we perceive the electoral process, the responsibility of voting. So each of you is being asked to complete a pre-event poll. And by that term, you recognize that there will be a poll to follow. 3 simple questions. I'd like you to take a few moments now and answer the questions before you, respond to the poll. And we want to thank Nicole Lopez for being able to bring this technology, and Dr. Stevenson for bringing this technology to us today. Nicole Flores. Did I say Lopez? I apologize. Nicole Flores. Thank you. Nicole, I owe you some yellowfin. All right, we've got about 25 more seconds to complete the poll. Now, in my studies as a doctoral student in higher education, I'm learning more and more about pedagogies and the fact that some of us have used for a long time culturally relevant pedagogies, and others have begun to use culturally responsive pedagogies. And if we're really smart about where we're moving and how we're growing, we will be using culturally sustaining pedagogies. So I'm going to ask you to listen to this young man who has put down in verse why we should all vote. He can say it in a language that most of us wish we truly understood. But it is my pleasure to bring to you rapper Yellow Pain.
Electoral votes, more than 270, more than enough to become the 44th President of the United States. He will be the first African-American President of the United States.
I've been broke all my life, but I kept hope all them nights. You see business in my city? Yeah, they closed all them twice. I was just riding down Salem, all them damn potholes, I can't drive. I know y'all can fix it faster, but I know y'all won't try. Don't nobody care about us, and that's why I don't vote. Voted for Obama back in 2012, I remember that's when I had hope. He was saying, yes, we can, and everybody got less food stamps. And when I turned 21, I was still broke, I'd never vote again. I don't think I ever had a president make my life better. Did it all on my own, ain't no politician ever do a nice gesture. I don't even know the mayor's name, I ain't never seen her one time ever. Tell me how she gonna help the city, when I'm supposed to do write letters, when I'm supposed to do blame Trump. He ain't never really gave a ain't nobody raised minimum wage. None of these jobs pay enough. I think they just want to keep us broke, cause they ain't putting none in place for us. This how all my people feel, but we gotta learn. We complained enough, let me change it up. Everything I just said, everybody I know think the same way. See, they don't want to see us vote, and we never do, so we see the same thing. But all our votes really do count, and they'll never really let it show. So now I'm finna break it down, cause if I don't, you would probably never know. First thing first, you know back in middle school when they taught us, it was 3 branches of the government. We forgot it when we got older. It's the judicial, the legislative, and executive. But all we know is the executive. That's the mayor or the governor and the president. Now none of them 3 people make no laws, they just be checking them. The laws come to their desk and all they do is say no or yes to it. So when the news station tried to tell us that Barack Obama couldn't put us on, we was all salty at Obama when it was the Congress members all along. We gotta focus on the legislative branch, yeah, they the ones that make the laws. Yeah, they the ones write how much food stamp money you get on the card. But when people that wanted to help us wanted the job, I know they probably lost. Cause we ain't even know their name, we ain't know their face, we ain't know it all. So the Congress or the State House, that's legislative, they make laws. So what we want from the president is what they do, okay y'all? See, they election every 2 years, but we don't ever even go to those. The Congress, they can raise minimum wage, but we ain't even really know it though. So you know how back in 08, when we all voted for Obama, we was all supposed to go back in 2010 and vote for the Congress. Cause they the ones make child support laws, they the ones choose if your kids at school get to eat steak or corn dogs. The State House make the court costs. So if the country failed, then you can't say it's them, it's your fault. Cause y'all ain't know to vote for Congress members that was for y'all. And they don't gotta leave after 4 years, and we just let them sit. See, they don't want to tell you this, they want you to focus on the president. Now the 3rd branch is the judicial, that's judges. They the reason why John Crawford and Trayvon ain't had justice. So when Meek Mill got locked up just for popping willies, we blame the judge and not the city when they let her get voted in, cause they ain't know who to vote against. Imagine life on the other side. Roads better, schools better, everybody get their license back, grocery store food better, custody of your kids back, homeless people get new shelters. If we gon' fix the U.S., we gotta start with them 2 letters, me and you. Somebody told us that the government wanna keep us broke, but the only reason why those people in the government is cause we ain't vote. And I ain't talking about the president, I'm talking about the ones we ain't know. See, they was gonna try to keep it low, but it's gonna hurt them when they see the polls.
Every time you stay home, someone is making a decision about you, making decisions about the air you breathe, the water you drink, the food your kids eat, and how much money you bring home every 2 weeks. So every time you sit out an election, every time you don't show up because you think it doesn't matter, someone else is happy that you didn't show up, so they can make that decision for you. Vote.
Vote. Vote. Not to think about it, just to do it. Vote. Doesn't cost you to vote. Doesn't spend any time. They even mail you a ballot now so you can vote from home. Put it in the mailbox without having to put a stamp on it. Vote. As we used to say, vote early and vote often, because someone is making a decision that is going to affect your life. Now, I want to share, let's see, are we ready to share the results of the poll? Here we go. 42% of the people, 42 people voted, 71% of the vote saying yes, they feel confident about making decisions in this election. Of those interested in going into politics or working in the government, 68% of you said, no, not me. You all better think about the benefits, because government employees get good benefits. What colleges are you presently attending? Looks like ELAC has 32%, followed by LA Southwest College with 29%. And coming up behind that is LA City College with 20%. All right, and those of you whose percentages we're not calling out, your presence is still being felt because you're here with us today. So I'm gonna stop sharing these results and we're gonna move on with our agenda. We have an opportunity on November 3rd to complete a process that began more than a year ago when people came together and decided what initiatives they wanted to put on the ballot. See, most of the time, if you listen to Yellow Pain, we're being focused on the top candidate, the president. But down the ballot are issues that affect our life on a daily basis. So to talk to us about the down ballot measures, those initiatives, those resolutions, those referendums that come before the people, that are brought to the ballot by the people, often by special interests of the people, not including for the people, is our Dr. Lance Robert.
All right. All right. Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Danny Tabor. I'm preparing to do a down ballot talk for you real quick. So let me press here. I'll get right to it. Now, you guys know me as a teacher, I have a whole lot to say about voting. I'm a political science professor. This is fun to me. This is my Laker game. But really what I want to talk to you is about the proposition. So my task in this format is to go over the 12 propositions so that you may have a little more confidence when you face the down ballot. And that's what we call this, the down ballot, things that are not at the top of the presidential ballot, but it goes down all the way to the other things. So propositions are really a function of the 10th Amendment. The 10th Amendment in the Constitution says that you and me, you and I, we can make laws. And so can the states. The states can make laws, and all of the local governments can make laws. We can make all of these decisions. So the main thing is we need to make decisions that impact us. And I know my people in Los Angeles Community College District, you want to make decisions that have social investment in investing in us and investing in our children, not just social control, right? Not just to control us. And that's why you're talking about moving funding from policing and bringing more of the social, emotional aspects to that career. But all of those decisions can be made by you. So some of you may recall when you go to Food for Less or Albertsons or any of the grocery stores, people will stand in front and they'll ask you to sign a petition to raise minimum wage or to legalize marijuana, or to allow the Uber drivers to be gig economy. All of that is a part of the democratic process. Yes, I said it at Food for Less. So when you're signing those petitions, eventually through the interest groups, they make it to the ballot. And that's what we see here. It's either done through an initiative where it's in front of the grocery stores, you sign it, it gets on the ballot, or the state legislators put it on the ballot, and that's called a referendum, when they want us to decide on the Constitution or to change the California Constitution. So I hope this was clear. That was a big sort of overview on why you have the ability to vote and make decisions. I will be posting this register to vote in the chat momentarily, like when I finish. And this is because you can still register by October 19th, and we want you to register if you haven't so far. And all you need are the things that are listed there, the driver's license, your date of birth, and you can get down, right? You can do it. So Brother Tabor, you can keep me on task. And
Dr. Robert.
Yes.
I have a question regarding propositions.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to talk about all of them, but you have a general question.
Right. Is it important to let many as possible know regarding propositions this year, or do you just want to introduce them?
Yeah, good. Yeah, you need to know about the propositions because you're not just going to vote at the top of the ballot for the president. You should look at all these other issues that impact your life. And this is my task to try to show you how all these decisions that you're going to be making on November 3rd or before, we could start voting actually October 5th from mail-in ballots. So yes, I'm going to go there. Thanks for the question. You guys ready to go on the journey with me through the propositions? Say yes, somebody. Okay, here we go. So
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
yes, okay, cool. So here we go. My first one I'm going to talk about here is going to be Proposition 16. This is a big one, and you're going to hear from some of the leadership students probably arguing for this or against this later on. Doesn't matter to me. As long as you have your opinion, it's all about you voting and participating. Lonnie Guinier said her son said, "Mom, democracy is kind of like this. Sometimes you win, but the next time sometimes you lose, but the next time you get to win." So you see, your candidate may have lost the presidency, but next time your candidate may win. So that's democracy for. So Proposition 16, this is a state constitutional amendment. So everybody on this call, you can change the state constitution. Isn't that power? Okay, good. I know you said yes. I know you're shaking your head. So this is a constitutional amendment. And what this is going to allow is going to allow schools and public agencies to take race and gender and other immutable characteristics. That's the language of Ruth Bader Ginsburg. called it immutable characteristic, something you can't change. It's loud, it's your identity, right? Into account when making admissions, hiring, and contracting decisions. So I was a young teacher. 1996 was when this happened. Ward Connolly, who happened to be an African American, but anyway, we're gonna keep it moving. He wanted to ban affirmative action in the state, which means you could no longer look at a person's race in making what we would call compensatory treatment, making up for past patterns and practices of discrimination. So essentially they banned affirmative action in the state of California, made it a constitutional amendment with Proposition 209. And then the admissions at the universities went really, really low for people of color. And contracts for people who do business with cities and governments went really, really low for Black and Latinos, essentially, who have contracting business, really, really low. So this is to bring it back. This is to put a ban on ending the ban on affirmative action. So people who want this are going to say yes, and they're going to say, let's bring it back. So the numbers will go increasingly high for you going to the UC schools, essentially, right? And your children and your nieces and your nephews and your grandchildren and all that. So that's essentially Proposition 16. All right, I'm going to keep it moving. Brother Tabor, you can move, you're the moderator. So if I got to go faster, let me know, or slower. I'm ready. I'm down for whatever. All right. Okay.
No, the contextualized information you're sharing is important. Just keep it moving, brother. You're going well.
Keep it moving. Okay, good. All right. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So Proposition 17, woo, this is big. This is big. This is for all my cousins in the pen. So or on parole, when they come out, I'm crazy, y'all. But
brothers and sisters too now. Don't just do cousins.
Don't get in my business, but this will mean that when my cousins get out of jail and they're on parole, they'll be able to vote. I say, yeah, let them vote. They served their time. They already did it, right? They already served their time. They already made their debt to the society. So Prop 17 will be restoring the vote to the people on parole. Now, if you don't want them to vote, if you don't like your cousins, you ain't cool with them because, whatever, then you vote no on this and say, we don't want you voting because you ain't fully reformed yet or whatever. But this is essentially it. But there are a couple of states, I will tell you, Maine is one of them, that actually allows their felons to vote in prison, right? Because you'd never lose. It's a civil liberty. You don't lose your right to vote anywhere. All right. So currently, if you sign this, then people on parole will be able to vote. Let me keep it moving. Prop 18. I have some youngsters on this call too. I know some of you 17. We still smell the Similac on your breath here from the computer here. You're babies. So this means that you're not going to be 18 in time enough to vote in the elections, right? So it's a constitutional amendment that we went from 21 years to 18-year-olds being able to vote. But this will allow in California 17-year-olds to vote, if you vote yes on this, on the year that they are turning 18. So they can vote in the primaries, and then essentially they can start voting at 17. But Dr. Robert, that goes against the Constitution. No, it doesn't, because there are 23 other states that already do it, and it's already been challenged, and it's okay to do it. So our state can remember Proposition's 10th Amendment. You're able to make laws. So if you want
17-year-olds, tell your older brothers, sisters, parents, nieces, uncles, aunts, teas, big grandma, big mama, big papa, tell them to vote yes for this.
Yeah, if you want the youngsters to vote. But if you think the 17-year-olds are crazy and you don't want them to vote, then you may be voting no. All right, so here is another one on this. I wish I could see you all's faces. I hope I'm not boring you. My wife said, don't bore the people. Don't bore the people. Okay, so politics is fun. Okay, so this is Prop 15. So Prop 15. Now let me give you some background, and you can keep me moving, Brother Tabor, if I got to go faster. But Proposition 15 with this is the split roll. So this deals with taxes. So back in 1978, I wasn't even born yet. Boom, boom. Okay, back in 1978, what happens is all of there was an interest group, because usually interest groups are getting things on the ballot. That's a whole nother function of the 10th Amendment. But they Harwood Jarvis had a tax reform. So what it did, Prop 13, let me be clear, it lowered property taxes in the state of California. Come on, real estate majors, to 1.25%. So when you buy a house, you get it at 1.25% is your sales tax on that particular sale of the home. So in 1978, even though most of the people in California don't own homes, they voted yes, and they lowered property tax to 1.25%. But the schools started suffering because they used property tax money to fund the schools. So then we came up with legalized gambling. Yep. I don't have any dice to show you, but they allowed your grandparents. They allowed your grandparents and them to start playing the lottery. Now, I know everybody on here got a grandmama that love the casino and love to do lottery, right? All that stuff. I know they go to church too. But anyway, that's a whole nother story. So our schools win too. That was what happened. We started a lottery. Now, Prop 15 is saying, wait a minute, hold up. Why did we let all the wealthy businesses get the lower tax rate too? We should have just done that for the homeowners. So the split roll is saying, hey, what we're going to raise the taxes of all the big commercial properties and the $3 million properties and over that are people who are in the commercial real estate industry, who are in the, owning the big factories and all that stuff. So their taxes is going to be raised. So this issue is great for teachers because the funding is going to go to schools. Our schools win too, but $11 billion. But people who are saying they don't, and the reason why the NAACP is on this is saying, well, a lot of when people have a higher rate of taxes to pay, they usually charge it to their tenants, right? So that's kind of like, ooh, we don't know what we want to do on that yet. But think about it. That's why you see the barber guy, putting the thing on it. He may have to close. The implication is people of color may not own the properties, and the people that do may put the higher tax burden on the rents. So these are something to think about. But if you want the schools to get the boost, you're going to vote yes on 15. Okay.
We're going to need to pick up the pace just a little bit, Michael.
Okay, cool. I knew I was going to get carried away. I knew it. Okay. Proposition 19, I'll go fast on this one. Prop 19 is basically, how you inherit I'll make it quick. I'll do a summary. How you may inherit your grandparents' property. Well, if you live in Grandmama and them's house, I just like to say it like that, Big Mama's house. If you live in her house after, she wills it to you, it's cool. You're going to get her tax rate. You're going to pay the lower tax rate she paid. But if you don't live there, you're going to have to pay, if you rent it out, you're going to pay a higher tax rate. Essentially, that's saying it. It's also saying for people 55 and older, they all used to hang out at a hometown buffet, getting those senior discounts. Those people are going to be the ones that benefit from this because if they move, they can take their lower tax rate to another property. You got to think about it, what you want to do. If you don't plan on living in those properties, you probably want to vote no. If you do, you probably want to vote yes on this. This is changing property tax. All right, cool. Rent control. We already have rent control in the state of California, but certain cities have more strict rent controls, right? Like Santa Monica, LA has rent control, Long Beach does, and LA County, where our college is located, there's really no rent control. It's LA County, right? LA County doesn't. So this will give those cities and those areas rent control powers. Okay, let's push it. How am I doing, Honorable Tabor? I'm okay?
We're moving to some critical junctions right here, but let's take it in.
Okay, here we go. So Prop 25, woo, this one. Okay, this is the cash bail system. So your state politicians last year said, you know what, having people pay bail to get Shorty out of jail. I'm sorry. Having people pay bail, some people got that. If you have never mind, don't go there, Dr. Robert, be serious. Okay, to get
real, Brother Robert, keep it real.
To get someone out of jail, we had to pay bail, right? And so what California did is got rid of the bail system, meaning that was unfair. It should be based on the risk. So what happened is the politicians got together and said, you know what? People are losing their jobs because they're going to jail, probably even, on some traffic stuff. And the bail is messing things up. So we're going to ditch, and California got rid of the bail system based on the the threat of the person fleeing or being a threat to society if it's nonviolent, right? So with this, with these folks, the bail bond industry, and you can look up Ballotpedia, the bail bond industry is like, no, we losing money without the bail system, right? So they want to bring the bail system back so they can charge people. Essentially, that's what it is. If you look up the story, you're going to see the bail bonds are refunding this. So if you vote yes on this, you are essentially bringing, you are essentially getting rid of the, you're going back to the way we were last year. You're saying, okay, we don't need bail bonds. We'll go by the algorithms, right? So that's essentially it. So this is kind of deep. You got to think through this one. This is dealing with criminal justice. Okay. Brother Tabor, you want to say something on it or keep it moving?
I want to be clear. So do I vote if I don't want people to have to pay bail, if I don't want to have to bail myself out, which way do I vote?
Okay, so so I wrote it down too because it's confusing, right? So here's what I wrote. Ending the cash bail based on risk. A yes would equal voters keep the state law, which ended the cash bail. A yes would keep the state law. A no would go back to a bail system. Got it?
I would vote yes.
Okay. Me too. All right. Oh, I'm not supposed to say I don't vote. I'm a political scientist. All right, here we go. Proposition 20. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. This is a big one. So Jerry Brown was a humdinger when he was first the governor. He came in hardcore on crime, trying to put everybody in jail. Everybody in jail. And some of you don't act all like you weren't, because in the 80s, you know, when I was growing up too, there was a lot of gang banging going on. You had to represent and had to wear different colors. So what it was, a lot of family was like, lock people up, put them in jail. So don't act like y'all wasn't trying to, your grannies and them wasn't trying to put people in jail back in the day. So essentially what happens is Jerry Brown came in all hardcore. He's been governor more than once, but his second time, he let all that go. He said, no, we got to lighten up. So we got to turn some of these felonies into misdemeanors. Ain't nothing but a misdemeanor. He had to turn it into a misdemeanors. He lowered prison sentences. So the laws changed and became a little more sensitive, more social investment and not social control, social brutality. Now, this is trying to roll back all the leniency on crime. This is actually sponsored by the guy who's the right-hand man of Trump in California. His name is Devin Nunes. So early on, whenever you saw Devin Nunes, he was hanging out with Donald Trump, law and order, and he's the guy in Fresno. So that's essentially, this is a hardcore. If you look at who's funding it, this is mostly funded by police departments. So if you out there protesting, defund police or reinvest in the community, and if you actually vote yes on this, you're doing the opposite. So a no on this is probably the direction you're going in, you know, with the uprisings in the streets. Okay, cool. Keep it moving. And some of the
students, you're doing good.
I'm doing good. Okay, good. I'm almost there too. Woo! This is drama. Okay, so on this one, Assembly Bill 5 passed in 2019, and I'll give you the backstory. This is so much drama. All right, so what happens is some of the Uber drivers got together as an interest group. Notice I keep saying interest group. These are people who want to influence governmental policy. So they got together and got with 13 Democratic state assembly people. Lena Gonzalez was one. She was the lead writer on this, and said, you know what Uber just did? And I remember this. The Uber drivers were saying, Uber, Lyft, DoorDash, say, Uber taking all the money. I'm doing all the work. And they getting the biggest percentage of my dough. So I'm mad. So they went to the politician. Politician said, oh, we got something for you, Uber. We got something for you. We're gonna make you have to get rid of the gig economy, which went to court about this too for courier travelers, and said we're gonna force you to make all the Uber drivers and DoorDash and Lyft people, you're gonna make them employees now. Yes, you are. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna pay them benefits, you're gonna give them retirement, you're gonna pay them health care, you're gonna love up on them, right? Because you didn't want to pay them before. Uber is like, okay, well, we don't like that idea. We want people to have a gig economy. And that's why Uber, Lyft, and DoorDash, I looked at the money, they spent $182 million fighting the law, which is Assembly Bill 5. See, so what this is, they're trying to change the law to favor the Uber industry. Now, so essentially, this is bringing it back to the way it was, where the Uber drivers could drive as what you call contract employees, right? So, and the app drivers. So you have to understand on this one, this is, you know, like the Uber industry going against the previous law, trying to change California state law. I don't know how you guys feel about that. Maybe some of you are Uber drivers. You may put it in the chat, and maybe you want to be gig economy. You don't want to be an employee, or, but you know, so you have to decide. So that's Prop 22. All right, that was the one with the drama in it. That's like a perfect one for a political sign. I'm probably going to use that every year for the next 30 years now. I'll teach your grandkids. All right, let's go to the next one. Proposition 14. I'm almost done. Whew. You guys holding up out there? What'd they say, Danny?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, cool.
Great,
all right.
thank you.
Okay, good. So it's getting hot in here. Okay, so Proposition 14, that's an easy one. That's for stem cell research. I'm gonna try to make Dr. J. Edward laugh on this one. See, because we're like college professors and they always telling us to solve all the problems. We got to solve poverty. We got to solve homeless. We got to solve every issue in the classroom and help let the students solve it with us, right? And then they blame us when the problems don't get solved. Well, I blame the medical people because they haven't solved cancer and heart attacks, and my people and my family still getting strokes. So I'm like, y'all need to hurry up and get your stuff together and get these medicines and get the people healed, right? I know I can get an amen on that one. But anyway, so they did this organization, Robert Klein, they've been doing stem cell research, and they pretty much had a $4 billion in bond money. Bond money is like an additional fee that the state would have to pay. And they went through $4 billion already. And now they're coming back and saying, well, we need 5.5 billion for more stem cell research. For that one, I mean, yeah, okay, just ask them, y'all gonna help, you know, end them strokes and all that stuff. And yeah, so that's probably an easy yes on that one. But if you don't feel they're ever gonna come up with the cures, then you probably are voting no on that. I don't know if that one's, I'm kind of neutral on it. I don't know. Just don't blame me for not solving all the other problems and my students, medical people. Okay, let's keep it moving then. I think that may be it. Let me see if did I go through 12 already?
I think you got 24 left.
24. Okay, there it is. Whew. Oh, this is an easy one too. This is easy. You can get this one right on the test. All right. Prop 24, this is just for stronger consumer privacy laws. So what this one would do is actually PayPal and Facebook and all, when you order stuff, it's just going to have more filters and layers that'll stop people from getting your information, maybe all those cookies and following you and try to sell you everything. So this is going to keep the salespeople off of you. But really, California is pretty good about it already. This is trying to increase those filtering systems, you know, so the computer scientists can make a little more money on, you know, doing their thing. I'm not mad at them. Go on and protect us, computer scientists. Go on and protect us. So that's Proposition 24 if you want stricter consumer privacy protections, okay? Particularly,
you would vote yes for that if you wanted it.
Yes, you vote yes if you want more protection, right? I'm trying to act like I'm scared, like somebody watching me in here, right?
Yeah. Looking over your shoulder all the time. Yeah. Now, Dr. Robert, we all have folks in our family, and some of us who, on a regular basis, go get hooked up in the dialysis machine.
Oh wow!
So, cover 24, please.
All right. So 23, right? 23. So
23. I'm sorry, yeah. 23. That's
so right. Prop 23. Yeah. In fact, this is funny, man. You saying that, but I can think of 3 people in the family right now, or close friends that are on dialysis and dealing with those issues, and have had kidney transplants and all of that, right? So what happens is the dialysis system, right? The Vitas and those private companies, they're a great service to the hospitals because they're very specialized in their care, right? So and it's usually DeVita. That's the ones I see over on Rosecrans and all the areas I drive by. DeVita. So what's going on is there are unions that want to regulate that and stop them from having those private kidney care, renal gland care facilities and move all that to a hospital or to put doctors into those places, right? So maybe it's good intentions, but actually that's going to destroy those companies and it's going to probably put a gridlock. And that's why when you're looking at the commercial with the people saying if they pass this, then I'm going to die. And to be honest, I really don't know if that's hyperbole, right? Because those places, they actually they're serving our family members. We got if everybody didn't leave, we had about 80 people on the call. If we surveyed it, I bet you some of the people are just like me. You got family members that have the renal gland issues and kidney issues. So I think this is right, brother. This is a no would keep the dialysis clinics going, right? Is that the way it wrote? Let me look at what I wrote in my notes here. I was so sure of it a second ago. Yeah, I think that's the no on that one, right? You want to, and whatever they're saying, I think the commercial got it right. Okay. So, brother Tabor, I will finish up my presentation. I'm not going to do all of that. It's too much. Let me keep it pushing. I won't talk about Jackie Lacey. What I want to say is go to Ballotpedia. If you don't trust the information of Dr. Robert, go to Ballotpedia. I'll put it in the chat in a second, and you can research for and against how much money's being spent on all of this. I'm almost mad at Uber and them. I said, if y'all had $200 million, how come you just didn't pay the people, right?
Hello.
Just pay the people. So anyway, that concludes my presentation. I want to go to the students, and the students are going to argue for and against them. So I'd rather hear from them right now, because I could talk about this till midnight. So I'm going to stop. Okay, thank you.
All right, well, look here, Dr. Roberts, I want everybody on the chat, go to the reaction section of your controls and give him a big round of applause on the reaction section. Just click it and let's see, there it is right here. There you go. Give that hard-working Dr. Robert a round of applause. All right, so now, by the way, Dr. Stevenson put Ballotpedia in the chat as well, Dr. Roberts, so you good there? Reparations. Everybody's been getting theirs, but when the Black folks gonna get ours? This brother, I understand, has debated this issue on the campus of Southwest College with other folk. I want him to come on now and bring to us an argument and a position and an explanation. Make it plain, Brother Javion Jones. Come on with it.
Yes, sir. Yeah, how you doing today? Well, yeah, for the most part, well, for those who do not know what reparations is the dictionary definition is repairing a wrong that one has done to another. And but throughout history, we have seen reparations being given in terms of payments, like it was given out to the Asians when they went through their certain internment camps. It was given to some Native Americans in terms of territories and even some forms of payments. Throughout history, the government has given out forms of payments to individual Blacks for slavery in terms of scholarships and certain other checks and stuff in that nature. But just to make a long story short, as a whole, for the atrocities that us African Americans have went through for the last 400 years in America, we have not been paid as a collective. And a lot of what we are facing today in terms of economic, politically, and socially stems from slavery. But a lot of what we have been taught by society and a lot of what we are being taught is kind of trying to get us to kind of like avoid that conversation. But at the same time, you see a lot of us are waking up, not even just Black people, but as well as even some of our white brothers and sisters and stuff in terms of speaking for reparations. But right now it's been talked about even more due to the elections and due to people focusing more on the police brutality that's going on, people focusing more on the economic gap that we facing. Blacks today still hold, I think, about less than 1% of the wealth and it's been that way since the end of slavery. I mean, since the end of the Civil War, let me be correct. It's the end of the Civil War. And we have not moved an inch. And that also stems from us getting our land taken from us getting people being trying to vote, people getting shot, not getting their demands met, and more. So today, what we're trying to do there in California, Assemblywoman Shirley Weber, I believe, Weber, I don't want to mispronounce her name. She is actually working, Weber, yeah. She's actually has put together a legislative in the state of California, making California the first state to try to implement, you could say, a study on how slavery has impacted Californians, Black Californians, and what we can do and what should be done to help Black Americans. But in my opinion, I feel like there should be more talks about it everywhere throughout the United States. We should be speaking to all Black people, including those who probably even don't agree with reparations, because there's a lot of, you'd be surprised how many African Americans don't even agree with reparations. But we should all, have a few leaders who have the power to make a great decision, come together and speak on what should be done for us. Because a lot of people are against payments. We don't always need payments. I'm not necessarily against payments, but we've seen what government assistance have gotten us within these past years, and we're still in a position. So I'm not against payments or for payments, but I believe there should be a plan implemented that should show like which programs and stuff that can help us better, as well as payments, if we want to go that route also.
So Brother Jones, what would you say are 3 things that should be included in that plan?
Absolutely. The main focus I would love to speak on, that I think is the main thing, is the economic gap. I feel like, we all know money does not buy happiness, but I feel like due to our history in America, Black Americans, we kind of have taken a bittersweet type of perspective on money and economics. We've chose to put that in the background to focus more on social issues, on being one with everyone, which is not necessarily wrong at all. But like you said in the beginning, everyone's getting theirs but us. You feel what I'm saying? So, and I believe, I'm not saying that it has never been people fighting for economic justice, but we seem to put that more in the background to focus more on unity, civil unity. But now,
so economic justice is one,
economic
and
justice,
you were saying unity is 2.
Unity, yeah, we definitely need unity. It's a lot of division in the Black community. So, like I said, we're not looking for everyone to have the same mind and everyone to be the same, but everyone to have a better understanding. We should be able to come together and speak just like every other group when it comes to making decisions. And another one I like to say is education. A lot of us, education is a big thing in the Black community. We take it serious more than, just as much as everybody else, but in terms of the proper knowledge of what we're being taught is what needs to change. And we need to get that. And one more thing I'd like to add is we need more land. I believe land, we need more land. No one's actually talking about that, but we all heard about the 40 acres and a mule. We all should know about the, I believe it was the special field order number 15 that was supposed to give us acres of land it was actually given to us, but then snatched away from us within, I believe, a year or so. So land, I believe if we would have got that land, we would actually have more economic justice and everything else that we need.
40 acres and a mule was promised.
40 acres and a mule, yes, sir.
Brother,
well, let me ask, David, I want you to stay on. Oh, Dr. Roberts, you had something?
Brother Tabor, we have to move. I know I'm getting notices to move the agenda. Jay, that was great, man. And just as a note, the state of Nevada, 81% of their land is actually owned by the federal government. Y'all want to go to Vegas? But anyway, okay, I digress. So so we're gonna move. I'm just asking you to move the agenda, Brother Tabor, and I have my leadership students who are
I was just about to call their names.
Okay, there it is. Okay.
Here we go. So Melanie, William, Michelle, Javion, you stay on. Selena, I need now for you all to take us through what you perceive to be the important ballot measures, the propositions, and give us your take on what's to come next.
Hello, everybody. Should I start first?
Go right ahead.
Okay, so I am in favor of Proposition 25. A little bit backstory on Proposition 25 is that I actually helped integrate SB 10 when I was working in my community. I was working with an organization that are about re-imaging our prison system because I too am formerly incarcerated. I went through that. I've been a product of the system since I was 18. Even before that, I was a product of the system with foster care. So my point of view on Proposition 25 is that if this is upheld by voters, it's giving opportunity to people who cannot afford bail. It's giving people an equal chance in fighting. I'm sorry, what was that? Okay.
Selena, go ahead. William, you'll be next. Just hold on one second. Go on and finish, Selena.
So if voters uphold SB 10, we also upholding Proposition 25. It'll allow people to be able to get a fair chance in a court system, which currently we can't do. It would allow families to not have that debt carried with them for years. I myself couldn't afford bail when I went into the incarceration cycle that I did. And my family were trying to put up houses, cars, everything. And I know that specific feeling. So I propose for the community to vote yes, being that this will be the first state that will end money bail.
All right. Thank you very much, Selena. William, you had a comment on a proposition? William Benson? All right, we don't hear from William now. Melanie Bennett, you're up.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. To begin, I am pro Prop 16. This is affirmative action, and it's the difference between equality and equity. It's if treated equal, regardless of their circumstances, denies our responsibility to prove equity, then equality is not what it appears to be. True equality involves equity. So I'm therefore yes on Prop 16, and to repeal Proposition 209, which banned the use of affirmative action involving race based on sex-based preferences in California. The rich and the powerful in California control access to lucrative careers, top universities, state contracts, and other opportunities, and people that don't have the same networks or insider access are passed over. Latinos make up over half of our state's public school system students, but just 25% of universities of California undergraduate students. Proposition 16 is a tool to begin dismantling structural racism and sexism. We all do better when we all have equal chances to succeed, but women in California earn less than 80% for every dollar white men make. And for women of color and single moms, it's even worse. It's unfair and it hurts families and our economy. Proposition 16 offers a path to fair treatment for all. In states that allow affirmative action, women and people of color compete on equal footing for jobs, promotions, and contracts. Without affirmative action, small businesses in California owned by women and people of color lose out to bigger, wealthier companies for government contracts. Proposition 16 will give women and people of color a fair shot to succeed. California is one of just 9 states that bans affirmative action. Proposition 16 is our chance to change that. With the removal of Prop 209, California will be allowed to freely develop and use affirmative action programs that grant preferences based on race, sex, color, ethnicity, and national origin in public employment, education, and contracting. This essential is in moving minorities up the society, which have historically been systemically excluded for too long. So voting yes on Prop 16 means fighting discrimination, equal opportunities for all, and leveling the field. By passing Prop 16, we can take a step towards dismantling structural racism and sexism.
Thank you, Melanie, and both you and particularly Selena for sharing your story, and Melanie, thank you. There was a question, Melanie, if you would put an answer in the chat to where people can find the data that you've cited in your comment, that would be helpful.
Yes, I can definitely do that. I'll
All
do
right,
that.
thank you very much. And now, William, are you ready for us? Because I see you keep jumping in and out. William Benson, are you
So
up?
William just called me, and he's gonna do his he's gonna do the tribute, but not the
Not
argument.
the, okay, excellent. All right, that explains that. All right, so we are moving. We're coming to the sort of the last fourth quarter now. We have been down this road for some time. We have experienced capitalism, the challenges to racism, the recognition that Black Lives Matters, and now on November 3rd, we have an opportunity to express ourselves by voting. You've heard from a number of folks about the importance of the ballot, and you've heard from Dr. Robert about the importance of each one of the ballot measures, the propositions before you on November 3rd. But there is another voice that you need to hear. And at this time, I'd like to ask, actually, I'm going to come to you, Brother Benson, if you would share with us a tribute to a man who marched with King, but more importantly, sat in the jail cell with him as well. The former congressman, nobleman, mentor, John Lewis. Oh, he needs to be admitted to the room. He's so someone will admit him to the. And while we're waiting for William to come in, I saw in the chat that one of the community college trustee candidates, Michelle Henderson, has been listening in and participating. I told Michelle, since I saw her name listed in the chat, I'd just give her a shout out. William, you ready?
Yes, can you hear me?
We can hear you, William.
Can you guys hear me?
We can hear you.
Yes.
Yes. Go ahead, William. Go. I push
Yes.
it. Go.
Uh-oh, now we can't hear you. What happened, William?
Okay.
A little technical difficulty.
He's about to bring the heat too. Okay, William, we'll go back to you.
All right.
Brother Tabor, we may have another student that has a proposition position, maybe Michelle Booker or one of those as well.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Michelle. I saw you earlier teaching on the chat. You've got a position on the propositions?
Yes, I do. First off, I just want to say thank you, everyone, for attending. Definitely closer to the election. This is definitely needed. I wanted to go ahead and speak on Prop 17. Like Dr. Lance was saying earlier, Prop 17 is a prop that affects almost everyone within Los Angeles County. Me personally, I just want to provide a personal story. In 1992, the year I was born, my oldest brother, this was during the riots, he basically was in a gang, was doing something he shouldn't have been doing at a time he shouldn't have been, at a place he shouldn't have been. Basically, after that, he took the rap because we all know when you're in a gang, you don't snitch, you don't do all these things. It's basically the way of the land. My brother went to jail for the first 6 years of my life, got out, changed his life completely, became a truck driver, now owns one of the biggest corporations for 18-wheelers in Arkansas, and still is not able to vote. Just because of that one mistake that he made when he was 26. So basically what I want to say is that everyone makes mistakes. In no way, shape, or form should that one mistake be held against us for the rest of our life. By saying that we vote no on Prop 17, that's basically saying that one vote does not count. Just like the yellow paint video that we saw earlier, there are so many ways that our rights are being taken away from everyone, and we need to make sure that we give that back to them. So I'm going to ask everyone, if you know someone that has been incarcerated, that got out, that's trying to change their life, make sure that you vote yes on Prop 17 so we can give them back that freedom to be able to help us change America, instead of just sitting there saying, hey, I'm about to send TT and up there to the polls to vote for me. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for thank you for sharing your story, your family story there. And you're right, none of us is without error in our lives in any time. And all of us could be subject to arrest just simply doing what we do on a daily basis. That your brother was found guilty, served his time, came out, built a business, now hiring others, employing others, giving them a quality of life. He deserves the right to once again exercise his constitutional right to vote. So again, we hear you and thank you. And to all the students who presented today, Michelle, Jalen, Selena, William, we really couldn't hear from, Melanie, and Javion, thank you all for participating. We've come to a part of our program that now you've heard it. We want you to show us that you mean it by taking these pledges. And so I've got students who are going to present. Dr. Roberts, you're going to show them on the screen. And students, we want each of you to read your pledge so that we hear it. And then while they're reading these pledges, we want everyone else to grab a piece of paper and a marker or a highlighter or eyelash paint, makeup, whatever it is, lipstick, whatever you can write with on your piece of paper and hold it up to the cameras with, "I will vote." That's the small pledge we're going to ask you to make today. So we'll begin with Dr. Roberts. You've got who up on the stage?
So we're going to go to Melanie Bennett first. And let me just say, I read these pledges. There's nothing better. This is poetry. This is, woo, it's power. You guys are going to be moved. Melanie, you have the floor.
Spoken word.
Thank you, Dr. Robert. That's very kind. 2020 Voters Pledge, this 15th of October, 2020. The LACCD students gathered on this Zoom because every person's voice should be represented. Because we are the future of this country, uniting together from all backgrounds, ethnicities, cultures, and walks of life. Because as students, we must advance the cause of public education. Because as women, we should play an active role in choices made for us. Because as immigrants, we should have a role in how our country treats other immigrants. Because as mothers and fathers, we should have a voice in what this country will look like for our future generations. Because as taxpayers, we have a duty to ensure that our tax dollars are spent responsibly. Because as citizens of the world, we need to have a voice in how government policy affects the climate and human rights. Because voting this election is a turning point and it is the most important election of our lives. We are as brothers and sisters in the same struggle. Therefore, in honor of those who fought for our freedoms and our right to vote, we hereby pledge to vote on November 3rd, 2020.
Whew, wow. That was awesome, Melanie. That was awesome. That was awesome. So start writing in the chat if you are committed to chatting. This one is by William Benson, but he's not gonna read it. He came back on the call, so I'm gonna keep it moving. The next one is Michelle Booker. So Michelle, back to you.
Okay. 2020 Voters Pledge. On this day of October, this 15th day of October 2020, the LACCD students gathered on this Zoom acknowledge, because we have earned this right, because we have a voice that needs to be heard, because if we don't vote, we can't complain about what's not being changed, because our ancestors gave lives for me to be able to fight for whatever I believe in, because it's a God-given right, because we see what happens when we don't vote. We are our brothers and sisters in the same struggle. Therefore, we vow our voice to be heard. In honor of those who have passed without their voice or story being heard, we hereby pledge to vote November 3rd. All of you that agree to this commitment, please write "I will vote" in the chat.
Yes, yes. Woo, 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 woo. Power. Okay, Jay Jones, Javian.
The LACCD students gathered on this Zoom acknowledge the importance of voting, because we have all heard the stories of how hard our ancestors fought for the right to vote. Because we have all heard the stories of our ancestors losing their lives for the right to vote. Because we all know our ancestors wanted their voices heard and demands met. because it is bigger than just getting one man out of office. It reflects our power, because it has the power to show the system how strong we are collectively, and because it is our human right. We are brothers and sisters in the same struggle. Therefore, we, in honor of those who fought the good fight, pledge to vote November 3rd, 2020.
Nice.
Yes, sir.
Let's go to Selena Lopez.
This 15th day of October 2020, the LACC students gathered on this Zoom acknowledge the great importance of getting into polls and voting, because we have experienced the inequalities for too long, because we have struggled and fought injustices for years, because we now know our voice matters, and because our vote does count, because of everyone who can vote, because it's our time to stand up. We are brothers and sisters in the same struggle. Therefore, we must come together. In honor of those whose lives were lost and those voices who were silenced, we hereby pledge to vote on November 3rd, 2020.
Nice, nice. Is Paulie Rivera in the house? No. That concludes the student pledges to vote, Brother Tabor.
All right. Well, brother, I want to share you with everyone. I voted. My ballot is back. There are 8 votes in my household, and we all took advantage of the ballot that was mailed to us and voted and turned it in. And we encourage each and every one on this call to do.
You went to mute.
I muted myself. We now have a post-event survey. Remember, I told you we're educators. We like to collect the data. So I want you to complete this poll. There are only 3 questions on this one as well.
I'm going to read them out loud. So after today's event, I feel more confident about making decisions at the polls on November 3rd. All right. Okay.
Events like this make me want to get more involved in the political process and in government.
Look at that. I think the numbers went way up from the beginning. I have a whole lot of data professors on this call too, so we move the needle, Dr. Jones,
Yes, we have.
Dr. Berry.
I would like to see more events like this in the future.
Nice.
And we are glad you did too. Well, all right. So let's see if we got everybody polling in. Everybody on has responded. Let's see we're gonna close the polls at 1:40. We got 4 more seconds. 3, 2, 1. Polls are now closing. 92% believe after today they are more confident about making decisions on November 3rd. 86% believe events like this will make them want to get involved and exercise their voice and power in the political process and in government. And let's see, I just got a note that my classes don't start in a while. 86%. Here we go. 96% said they want to see more events like this in the future. Well, all right, students, we hear you. It's my pleasure now to close this out by bringing on the organizer, the chair of the African American Outreach Initiative, Dr. Nairi Berry. Dr. Berry, take us home.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. Well, first, I want to thank everyone that put this event on. As Dr. Roberts stated, it was just a idea. But we had, because this is such a historical event happening in our country right now, so many issues on the ballot that impact all of us. And we come together today as one We used our power today. We used our voice today. We used our knowledge today. And what I want you all to do, I challenge you all to go to your family, your friends, social distancing, and with your mask on, and say, as Dr. Roberts said, Big Mama, Pawpaw, even your friends, you must vote. It is important that you vote. We've highlighted so many propositions, and it's not just about the presidential race, right? That's also important, right? But so many issues in our community are at risk. So many issues that impact our educational system are at risk. So many things about renters and how we live and how we get a job and how we feed our families are at risk. And I don't care. That's not an excuse if you have to wait an hour or two in line. If Megan Thee Stallion was there, or Drake, you will wait. So I'm urging you all to get a group of 5 people, pack your snacks, and go vote. Early voting is going on right now. And I like to close with one of my favorite people. And he said, our vote is precious. It is the most powerful, non-violent tool we have as a democratic society, and we must use it. As Black and brown people, as oppressed women, as LGBT people, we must vote. We have to let them know our voice matters. And that's it. I thank you all.